Hey guys. Are we actually live?
We are.
Fantastic. Awesome. Hey guys, welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday, the show where we talk about whatever's on your mind. Thanks, Baka. We live. Awesome. Hey Riku, hey Kendra. This is the show where we talk about you know, issues. We talk about problems, we talk about life. Every day we go through things, some things we don't like, some things we do. We're here to talk about the things you don't like. Because we can help maybe shed a perspective on it or help you get through those problems in your day and make life better. We aren't psychologists, we aren't psychiatrists, but we've been through a lot of stuff. And we hope that we can at least do a favor to the world and take that stuff we've been through and figure it out and give it to you guys so you guys don't have to work so hard. But at the end of the day, a lot of times you guys already know how to solve your problems.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes just having a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of someone to share your problem with, or having another perspective can really give you the boost to start going with your problem solving. So anyways, that's what we're here to do. So if you ever have any thoughts, any topics you want us to talk about, please share it in the chat. You can also send it to us as an email to remain anonymous, and you can also send it on our website. Princess has provided the links above. Thank you, Princess. Now that that's out of the way, hey guys, how you doing? How you doing, Joe?
I'm great. Earlier when you were talking there, I was like, we talk about shoes. We talk about his shoes. We talk about her shoes. We talk about everybody's
Talk about
shoes.
hot issues.
Talk about hot issue.
Yeah, 4-Minute Girl.
For That's great.
I actually like that song. Guys, if you don't know that song, there's
It's a good song.
It's a good song. It's a K-pop song. One of the few that I actually enjoy listening to. I don't hate on K-pop. It's just a lot of it I don't necessarily go out of my way to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one that I could listen to every once in a while and go, you know what? This is a good song.
Yeah. Well, that is.
Yeah.
So no, I'm doing great. It's been a great week. We got a lot of cool stuff happening at Black Static and Swerve, man. We got the casting call coming up on Friday. Just gotta make an announcement, and hush hush. This is secret, so don't tell anybody. But we get to work on an album with our friend Jono Taylor. Man, oh man. So I've been getting to collaborate with him a little bit. It's been super cool. He's so good. If you guys haven't been to his YouTube channel and heard some of his stuff, he's got some great songs. He's an incredible composer. And he made some really cool videos of Christmas carols with like 4 of him doing like 4-part harmony and stuff. Like it was really cool. So yeah.
I just thought about it. We have at least 4 albums already set to go this year.
Uh-huh.
That's crazy, 4? Guys.
Wait,
4. Yeah, because I have
what's the 4th
one with Geen now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's gonna be a lot of songs this year. I hope you guys are prepared and ready for it. Because I am. I mean, it's about time.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So what do we got? We've got the Criminal Idol 2 season 2. That's scheduled to come out this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got a single duel. We released our first album on December 31st of last year, so we could get it in 2020.
Just right at the end.
We're like, we want to release an album this year, so we did it, man. We made it.
You made it.
And we're working on
time.
Yep. Actually, over the weekend, I was recording drums for one of the songs off of that album. I actually recorded on video too. I'm thinking about sharing that video of that drum take because it turned out pretty cool. As testing out my lighting arrangement for making music videos and stuff like that. It was this big, huge test. So I might share that somewhere on a channel. I'm not sure which one.
All right.
But and then Jono's album, and now your album with Geen, man, that's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a cool year. So
yeah.
Yep. But those of you who are interested in auditioning for a voice acting role for Criminal Idol Season 2. That will go live on Friday. So if you're over 18, I know it's kind of a bummer for those of you who aren't 18. I'm sorry. But it was just going to be, there are going to be too many legal hoops to jump through.
Yeah.
For
Unfortunately.
paying people and all that kind of stuff. It's too bad. But if you're over 18, then yeah, we would love to hear your stuff. And rest assured, if you're not 18 yet, there's going to be more projects in the future.
There's going to be more projects.
We've got a lot of stuff like lined up, which is cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ryan's
So if you're
got
like,
Ryan's
"Oh,
got
man,
his
my
head
once
full
in a
of
lifetime-"
ideas.
Yeah, your once in a lifetime opportunity. Don't worry, there will be plenty more of those.
Mhm.
So, yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to start going through all of the submissions. It'll be cool.
Yep. I'm sorry. I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
guys.
That's
It's not.
only 18
I
and
know.
over.
As soon as we decided on that, I was like, oh man, that's gonna stink for
Yeah.
a lot of people because there's a lot of you guys that have an amazing amount of talent,
Mm-hmm.
voice acting, who just aren't 18 yet.
Mhm.
But what I would recommend is keep on working on it so that when you turn 18, you can snag a role real quick.
Yep.
Whether it be from us or for any other company in the world.
And I think one of the biggest issue was the fact that we were going to pay people.
Yeah, right.
Like this is a
That's
paid
the biggest issue.
position. Like, and so
If-
like because of all the IRS stuff and all that nonsense, it just there's too many weirdness.
Yeah, I
child
mean, we
labor
could
laws
do it
depending
and
on
say, hey,
state
we're not
and-
paying anybody so that we can accept people. But then, like, I don't know. I don't think that's the right move
Yeah.
because
Nice.
people
to be able
deserve
pay
to get
people.
money
Absolutely.
for their hard work.
Alligators.
Snapping noises. Oh, thank you, Baron. You're awesome.
Yes, and for those of you who are going to audition, just so you know, there's going to be more than one audition, and we're going to put you guys through the test.
Ooh, that's right. That's right. If you guys make it to the final few,
To the
we're
second
gonna
round.
run you through the ringer.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be
There's
cool.
some weird tests we're coming up with, like who
Like-
bakes the best macaroni and cheese. You can
That's
ship it
right.
to us in the mail, and if it's still good by then, you might be in. So, anyways, yeah, let's get on with the show, eh?
Let's totally do that. Yeah. We also I do want to remind us of the email.
Mm.
Sorry, Box. But we did get an email too. So sorry, Princess, I forgot to tell you about that. It's not on our sheet. Princess keeps all of our stuff on track and everything, and I totally forgot to tell her about the email we got for a topic. But I don't think I don't know if you're here or not. The person who sent us the email, and I never asked if you wanted us to keep that anonymous or not. But
yeah, we have one from and he won. We're not sure if it was meant to remain anonymous or not. They basically, you just said, hey everyone, right now on my phone, so a tad easier to write here in an email than on the website.
yes.
So if that's kind of how you started your email out, and you're here and you want to be known,
Yeah, just let us know.
there's a heads up for you. And I'll go ahead and give that to you, Princess. I'm gonna post that to you on Discord. Is that cool? Hopefully it's not too long.
Princess says,
Oh, it's over
yup.
2,000 characters, but whatever. It's sent in a message text.
All right.
Cool.
All right.
Crisis
Cool. Well, let's
averted.
go. Yeah, I don't know if they're here, so let's go through the list and see who is here.
Yeah. All right. So we've got, if you're on this list, if I call out your name, please just throw an emoji into the chat in the shape of a animal. Sevlev, SK, Awkward Pika, Jesse, Con Vulcan, Sparrow, Amira, Random, Emperor, Aerospray, and Anonymous. Yeah, that's what we got. So far, I think we've been pretty good with getting everybody that's here. Hey, Magician Gesture, welcome back to life.
Yeah,
It's a
welcome.
sunshiny day.
It's a sunshine day. Everybody's smiling. Sunshine day.
Oh,
You know that song?
nice. Remind me of Mr. Blue Man. No, wait, Mr. Blue
Blue
Sky.
Sky.
Yeah, remind me of Mr. Blue Sky. Man, Mr. Blue Man in the scene. Yeah.
Sunshine Day by the Brady Bunch.
Oh,
Yeah, man. I did a lip sync to that song once.
really?
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
I didn't.
You do amazing things when you're when you're
Oh.
courting the person you're gonna marry. You do incredible stuff.
Huh.
And one of those
Yeah.
was that performance where I actually got to wear a leotard,
Wow.
which is not usually something guys wear.
Uh-huh. Unless you're Peter Pan. Or yeah, no, I said the right one.
Yes. So anyway, it was great.
Yeah. So I didn't get any animal emojis in the chat. So guys, it looks like today is going to be relatively free for all. So if anybody in the chat right now wants us to talk about their topic,
Baka said, I thought I had a
be awesome.
topic. Baka says, I thought I had a topic. Did we handle Baka's topic? I don't know. Let's take a look. Let's
take a look.
go looking.
You just added it.
Oh,
Cool.
Oh.
51 minutes ago. Look at that thing, man. Hey, Noah.
Sorry, Becca. Thank you.
Yes. We got your
Um,
topic now.
Yeah. All right, let's do Bacchus then.
Yeah.
I need to buy 3 minutes. Does anyone have 3 minutes I can buy? Apparently, I have
50
to.
bucks.
I have to $50. All right.
$50 for 3 minutes.
I actually don't even have my wallet on me.
Actually,
I'm searching for nothing.
750.
$700.
750.
750. Oh, that's way better. I
Yeah.
thought it was just like 700. Dang, that's like nothing. You deserve way more than that, man.
Fine, 7,000.
All right. I don't know why, but we're buying 3 minutes for Princess. She might be going bathroom or something. Who knows? But
She might be dealing.
might
with
be
the topic.
preparing the stuff on the thing for the people that we are.
Yeah.
You're welcome. That's common English for you.
Yeah. Well, so you asked me how I was doing. How are you doing, Ryan?
Oh, I'm doing wonderfully.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, things are going well, man. And life is exciting.
Man, oh
You
man,
know.
we got all kinds of people coming out of the woodwork. Sassy Jenna's back. Magician Jester's back. Noah's
Whoa,
back.
Sassy Jenna. Hey.
Man, oh man,
long time no
Riku's
see.
back. We got all kinds of people. Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome. Yeah.
And welcome to all of our regulars as well. Our current regulars. You guys are amazing. Man,
Yeah.
oh man. How are all of you? Everybody answer all at once in the chat. How are you today?
Yeah, and it better be at the exact same time because if it's not, we're gonna have to ask again.
Yeah. And
We're just
right now you can
lurking.
post.
Oh
You
my
can-
gosh, Amara Kuro, what's up?
Good. Amazing. Pog.
Amazing. Pog. Hey Zach, what's up, man? Oh,
Good, but
Toria.
tired.
Hey, I'm good
Okay.
but tired. Tenchi, aw, hey. Wow, we got a lot of people here. This is fantastic.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
You guys are amazing. You guys are so amazing.
I know you just like
Martin.
listening to the sound of Ryan's voice. I do too.
Wait, who said that? No one said that.
I said that.
Don't say that.
I said that.
Dang it.
I'm going to say it again. I like listening to the sound of Ryan's voice. That's why I listen to the songs on this flash drive.
You hold up a box. This flash drive. How do you stick that in your computer?
It opens.
Real hard. Just as hard as you can.
Is this, and it's currently 21% off.
There you go, guys.
Yeah.
Since we have a break on our hand, 3 minutes, why don't we do an ad campaign? Hey guys, welcome to the commercial break.
Welcome to the commercial where we talk
starring
about
your host, Joseph Anderson.
Yeah, man.
And your co-host, me.
We got a CD. You can hear Ryan's voice
right.
a lot on that.
I do have my voice on that. That's
do.
true.
You do.
I screamed into the CD so it would keep it would keep that sound forever. The CD just rings with immense beauty of Ryan screams.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we're not quite to sellout territory yet. You just wait and see this. Yeah. Wait and see this.
I'm waiting.
Just wait. Just wait.
All
just
right.
wait. You can go right here to this website.
Oh, you could.
Yep.
And then what?
And then you can put something in your shopping cart.
Tell them how to do it. You tell them, buddy.
and then
put something in your shopping cart.
Yep. And then at checkout, you can put in the coupon code 21. The numbers 21. And you get 21% off.
Easiest password of your life. Just
Easiest
21
ever. 21.
Done.
21% off. Because it's 2021, man. We wanted to be like, hey, what's 20% off? We've never had this high of a discount before. It was always 20% off.
That's right.
And I just I messed up the accounting department. I'm like, we're doing a 21% off sale. Like,
yep, bigger and better than ever.
What?
That's 1% more than 20%. It's approximately 2.2% more. I can't remember how to math.
You can have this little guy. He looks cool.
He's cute.
We're talking to the people right now. We're in conversations, talking to the people who made this. Talking about a different one up and coming. It's a surprise though.
It's a surprise. Actually, you guys are gonna love it. It's so good. It's really cute and very huggable, and yeah.
Box plushie.
I honestly for season 2
we need to have box plushie.
Season 2 we are going. We've got to at this point have Box Chan, and it's gonna be so easy for the plushie department to make it. It's just a box. I mean, how can just as long as they get the right angle on the box.
We won't have to require that they wear shorts or pants.
That's right. Because you can't look up a box skirt. You can turn it upside down, but it's just still a box.
That's right. It's a box. Yep. It says box on it.
So, story. We had some friends. I went to Anime Expo. Me and Rainey did actually together. We both went to Anime Expo, and we, from an acquaintance of our friend, they gave us a plushie. And when they gave it to us, said, hey, we had these plushies made and we're giving them out for free. And we're like, awesome. And she said, just so you know, when we had the plushie made, we forgot to tell them that that this plushie should be wearing something under their skirt. So here you go. Here's a no underwear doll who's wearing a skirt. And I'm like, okay, thanks. I'll take it, I guess. It's pretty funny. But yeah, so we're making sure that if anything, we are making sure that our stuff has the under equipment necessary for their protection and yours.
Yes. Noah, thank you. All the details are going to be coming out on Friday. Where are the details for where are they going to come out on? On Discord, on the Static P channel, on this channel?
Okay, so for the auditions?
Yeah, for the auditions. Sorry. Noah was asking how do you sign up for auditions? Yep.
Got it.
Yeah,
it'll be on a video.
It's 18 and over, age 18 and over. So I don't know if that disqualifies you or not. So I'm sorry if that does, but
yeah, hopefully not. But it's just kind of a legal issue because we actually wanted to pay people. But anyways, oh my gosh, Emperor Aerospray. Hey, cool. So now you're here, so we can do yours after we do Baka's, because Baka's been waiting patiently for us. But yeah, we're gonna do it. We'll have the information in a video on Static P channel, so everyone can see it there. I'll do Twitter as well, and I'll also put one in the Discord for you. In
Static P friends, the Static P friends.
Static
Discord.
P friends.
Yeah.
Yep.
Princess, you want to get everybody an invite to the Static P friends?
That'd be great.
You are so good at that.
Princess, you're amazing.
You always just have it right there. Like, and I don't even know how to use Discord. I just know how to type stuff in Discord, and I just recently learned how to do voice chats in Discord and, video chats in Discord. And it's like amazing. I was like, this
Yeah.
is such a cool thing. Discord is such a cool thing because I was out doing inspections. And that's the only contact I have with Jono, who, we're in we're in pre-production for this album, and I'm out driving around and he's asking me all these questions and stuff on this chat on Discord, and I'm like, let's just do a voice call. Boop. And
Nice.
so it is
Yeah.
he's over in England,
And doesn't charge you for like phone time.
I know, man.
It's amazing.
This is awesome.
So cool.
This is so
So-
sweet.
Yeah, thank you all so much for your patience while we try to get everything ready. But Princess is back and available. So
She
yes,
even posted a link. Man, I had all that time to post a link.
yeah.
I did.
Yeah, I can't believe it, dude. I can't believe it. You missed your one
Oh
chance
my god. Oh my
to finally win.
I could have
Oh,
won.
jeez.
But
that's great.
there it is again.
All right. So go ahead and click that link if you want to follow along. We're about to jump into the topic. Baka Breaker, thank you for your patience.
Yes.
But yeah, this one is titled Frustrations and Migraines. So yeah, Princess, take it away.
I've been having trouble lately making simple decisions. I know I choose the wrong answer every time because it will just hurt later. Migraines. I used to have migraines 1 to 2 times a week, and I never told anyone. And now that I have reduced the amount of caffeine I'm drinking, I'll only get it once or twice per month. With the dumb choices, I get overwhelmed by them with unnecessary stress, and it just ends up in a migraine. Also, whenever I get extremely stressed out or anxious or nervous, I break out into hives. This annoys me so much because I know I can prevent it from happening, but I fail over and over. How do I end this seemingly endless loop of stress? From Baka Breaker.
Yeah, I mean, I can relate to that. Let me tell you, man. I've had a lot of skin problems. I have what's called atopic, it's eczema. The actual term is like atopic. I can't remember the name of it right now for some reason. But anyways, yeah, I've had a lot of skin issues, and for me, it's not because of stress, but I get I totally get it of like causing it yourself, because as time has gone on, I've realized it's certain foods, and sometimes I choose to eat those foods anyways, and then I suffer, and I'm like, dang it, why did I eat that? Or yeah, different things can go on, including hormones and stuff like that, right? Just the natural process of your body and that kind of stuff, it really messes with your skin because that's how your DNA works. And that's how your body works. So it's super annoying when, you make those choices and you're like, that was a dumb choice. Why did I do that? And it comes back to bite you in the butt. And sometimes it leaves a mark on your face, and that mark lasts for like 2 weeks. And so then for that 2 weeks, you're beating yourself up. Like, I get it. It's super annoying. And so, yeah, like I can totally relate. And I think we all make dumb choices. And a lot of times, like not a lot of times, but I think sometimes rather, all of us make dumb choices on purpose. And we know they're dumb. And we're like, let's do it anyways. Yep. And then it doesn't feel good after you're done doing it, because you're like, well, I knew it was going to be dumb, and it was. Yep. But that's how life goes. So getting stressed out, hopefully we can help with that. I mean, that's a pain, especially if it causes migraines. I can understand how stress can definitely lead to migraines. So can, tensing your muscles and stuff like that can lead to migraines if your neck is tense and things like that. It's all sorts of different things. So anyways, Joe might have some experience with this, so I'm excited to hear what he's got to say.
Well, thanks, Ryan, and thank you, Baka, for the topic. Yeah, and Magician Jester, you retracted your message, but you had the answer. Just play Dota 2 for 1,000 hours, and you'll be immune to all stress. Right?
There you go.
I don't even know what that game is, but I know.
I was about to explain, and then I realized I don't have to. Not the place.
There are some games that actually stress me out. But interestingly enough, so all right, so how to deal with stress? This has been something that I've dealt with for a long, long time, and I've found different ways to cope with stress. There are things that sometimes life just pops up in front of you and you got to deal with something and it's stressful, you know? And I can remember early on early on doing inspections, there were a lot of stressful moments, and I had to learn how to navigate that. Not only navigate it physically with with a conversation with a person, but how to navigate it in my mind, and so I wouldn't carry that stress for the whole day after I had a stressful interaction with a person, because there are many opportunities for that in my line of work in property inspecting. Um, but so at any rate, there are a few things that I've found to be very helpful in helping with stress, because if this is the cause, then we should obviously take a look at the cause. If there's obviously if there are hives, sometimes there are different remedies, topical creams or ointments or whatever that might help to relieve those, but it's really, that's a symptom of the underlying cause, which is the stress, right? So if we can deal with the cause, then hopefully everything will be better. And I really appreciate that you're recognizing this from your post. I can tell that you're like, okay, this is why this is happening. I understand this. And so how do I deal with that part of it? How do I deal with the cause? So I applaud you for that, because most of the time people just have some kind of a reaction. They don't even try to think about what might be causing it. They just want to deal with the result, and sometimes the cure is pretty hard, because you're dealing with a cause, and you're dealing there. I know people who are they have type 2 diabetes, right? And it's been brought on by years of eating habits, right? That's generally type 2 diabetics. It's been brought on like that. Now, it's not always that way, but in many cases, it's the responsibility of the person and their eating habits. And a lot of times that it's a habit that they just don't want to change, or they don't feel like they can change. And so they end up just progressively getting worse in this case, right? Because, they're not, it's not motivating for enough to address the cause, which is the eating habits, right? So at any rate, I don't want to be offensive to anybody if you're type 2 diabetic. I know that's a real big challenge. And, but I know that in some cases, there's a lot of control that can be had with what you eat. In this case with stress, a couple things that I've learned how to deal with stress more effectively. One of them is exercise. I'm going to go back to that one because that's what I always go back to. But exercise really does relieve a lot of stress. And it's interesting. Stress can be positive or negative, right? It's the negative stress we always think about when we're talking about stress. That's distress. But there's also eustress, which is a positive stress. It's a building type of stress where it's like, and that would be exercise. When you exercise, you're putting your muscles under eustress. So and what that does is that creates an environment for your muscles to grow and get stronger and be more healthy. Your whole physical makeup improves, right? So exercising is a great way to deal with that. And I've learned these things about myself. Like if I don't exercise for a while, my brain goes to bad places. Like if I take more than like 2 weeks is kind of pushing it. But a lot of times I'll do an exercise program that lasts, 8 weeks to 12 weeks or something like that, right? And then at the end of it, it's kind of like this celebration, this big success, thing and whatever. I'll eat some cake, and or something. I'll eat food that's not good for you, and then I'll take, a week or two off of exercising. If I go past that 2 week point of without exercising, without getting back into a routine, then my mind goes to bad places. It goes to stressful places. It goes to, all kinds of dark places. And I'm like, and I know this, right? But still, even in that place, it's hard to get started again. But then once I do, it all kind of resolves itself. So I don't know if you got to start out just by stretching or walking somewhere, just going outside and walking. I think if I remember correctly, you are on a bowling team, Baka. So that's a form of exercise. That's a form of activity where I know that because I don't bowl very often, if I do go bowling, I am sore the next day. Like my whole side and like my leg, my one leg is sore, and the whole side of my body is sore from bowling, right?
You need to bowl with the other hand.
I know, I need to switch. I need to be a switch bowler or something, right?
That would be impressive.
Yeah. But and then if you get into exercising, and then just kind of increase your level as you go, right? Make it a little bit harder, challenge yourself a little bit more. And what that does is oh dang, you hurt your knee bowling. I'm sorry. But as you get going with exercise, what you're going to find is your head's going to be a lot clearer. You're going to be able to think through an issue that would normally stress you out. You're going to be able to think through it a lot more clearly and, get to the answer. Whatever the solution is to that issue, having a mind that thinks clearly and sharply is going to help in that regard. Another thing that I've recently found, I've known about the exercise thing for a few years, but just this past year, I've learned that journaling is tremendous for this. And then even beyond journaling, every morning I do like this morning routine, right? And I have 2 writing exercises that I do. I know you guys are thinking, what a dork, right? But but anyway, so the first exercise is kind of when my mind is still waking up and everything. Like I have some prayer time, some meditation time, and then, and I kind of go through this. And then after I kind of get myself awake a little bit, I do a deep dive into sense writing for 10 minutes. I set a timer for 10 minutes. And this is actually this is an exercise in writing better lyrics faster for music, right? This is one of the secrets I learned. But what I found is this exercise actually helps with stress a lot. It helps me really get in touch with my feelings, because the idea of sense writing is you're writing whatever comes to mind. I pick a topic, right? Like a book. Like I usually look around the room and I'm like, okay, what am I going to write? What's my starting word? Book or ribbon or board or something, right? And then I just start writing whatever comes to mind, and I try and keep it sense oriented. So I'm thinking about the senses of taste, touch, smell, I'm thinking about emotion. I'm thinking about, all these different things that we feel, like all these feeling words, right? And I just go for 10 minutes writing out all these feeling words, pertaining to the senses. And I've found that spending that 10 minutes doing that, and it's funny too, because I have the 10-minute timer, and as soon as it stops, I could be in the middle of a word and the timer's done. I got to stop. Right? I don't know. That's a weird rule that I set for myself. But
that's great though. After okay, well, I'm done.
That's done. I'm done with that one. But so interestingly enough, that helps relieve some stress, because I'm getting in touch with all my feelings, right? And I'm kind of feeling this entire gamut. I'm going through this roller coaster, and I'll go from like highs to lows and pain and, pleasurable experiences, everything, and I'll think about all these different sense related issues. So anyway, then after that, then I do reading, and then I do journaling. And then in the journaling is where I actually dig into like, okay, what are my thoughts on, reflections on what I just read, or reflections on what I went through in the past day, what have I learned, different things like that. And getting your thoughts down on paper, it liberates those. A lot of times when we're stressed, our brain is cluttered. At least that's the way it is for me. When I get stressed, it's like I can't even think straight because my brain is so full of a lot of different things. Like I'm always trying, and I can't even hardly sort through them. So I've found that these 3 exercises, that the physical exercise helps clear your head a lot. And it's weird because, and that just goes to show the mind-body connection that we all have with ourselves, right? So when we physically exercise, it clears our head. When we when we think about feelings, when we dump out a bunch of feelings onto paper and experience that in our head and think about it and pour that out, that's another way of releasing and, just getting rid of clutter in our brains. And then the journaling where I'm cataloging my thoughts and what I've learned and different things, maybe stuff I have to remember, or, people I need to pray for, or whatever it is, right? All that now is out of my head and it's on paper. And so my brain is now much less cluttered after doing all these things. So you don't have to do all of these. I didn't start doing all of these at once. I picked one. I did exercise first. And then I added journaling into it after a few years. And then just recently, this whole this sensation writing. And these things have just been wonderful, wonderfully helpful. And I don't know, maybe you could try one, see. It'd be pretty cool. So anyway, that's kind of what I got to start with. So Ryan, did you have anything? Oh, we got a
Nope.
birthday.
Just kidding. Yeah. Hey, Hurried
Happy
Nest.
birthday.
Hey, happy birthday. Congratulations. You survived another year. I'm looking forward to your next one. Yeah, thanks for joining us on your birthday. That's so cool. So yeah, Baka, I have to say props for giving up caffeine, or at least reducing the amount you take. Not giving up entirely, but reducing the amount you take, and it's decreased the migraines. Awesome. Caffeine is a chemical which blocks your tired sensor in your brain, to put it in a understandable way. So you don't feel tired. That's what it does. What that ends up doing to your body and also to your mind, sometimes it can cause a lot of stress because your brain can't put things to rest. Because you can't rest. So it kind of adds to the stress if you're drinking caffeine, if you're stressed out. So good on you. I think that's fantastic. Other things that you can do along that line, I'm not sure. I'm not a psychiatrist, but drinking water is good, and trying to stay away from high sugars like pop, and most juices, even though those things can technically be good for you. Your body does need those nutrients from time to time. I think that it's important to do your body right, because that can help a lot. So good on you for starting that. I think that's so cool. Coca-Cola, I like Coca-Cola, but yeah, that's one of those that's like, it's good for you if you drink it once every year.
Well, Magician Jester said I'm addicted to Coke, and it's like we have to clarify. Thank you for clarifying that.
Magician Jester, you are the very first person I've ever met that's actually addicted to Coca-Cola. Everybody else that I know is addicted to Pepsi.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, right? Why would you? I don't know. I'm not a big Pepsi fan. I'm more
Coke's way better than Pepsi.
I like Coca-Cola. But anyways,
this show is not sponsored by Coke.
This show is not sponsored by either, so we're allowed to say whatever we want. and they can email PR if they want. That's a closed account. We don't even have PR.
Yeah, PR@bss.studio. Good luck.
Yeah. Okay. Um, so, anyways, um, back on topic. I just wanted to say that's awesome that you've begun. You're trying to solve the issue and you're figuring out ways to do it, and you're already on the right route. I think that's so cool. For me, in my childhood, I had to deal with a copious amount of stress.
Mm.
And I think that's why I learned quickly as a child to not be so stressed out about anything. In my childhood, I had a angry alcoholic father.
Mm.
He since has gotten way better, but at the time, he was not right in the head. At least not all the time. And so, I remember just being stressed out all the time. I just avoided him 100% of the time that I could, because I was just constantly in fear, and like, because I didn't know what he was going to do.
Mm.
Right. And that's not a nice place to be, but it taught me, I think it taught me a lot when it came to endurance, and when it came to letting things be and just kind of letting them go. Because there was no fight I was ever going to win against my dad. Not at all. So there was no point in fighting. I just kind of was like, yeah, all right, I give up pretty much on most things. I'll just do whatever you ask me to. I won't worry about it. However, at about 6th grade, I would say things really started stressing me out again. Well, not about 6th grade. I would say things led up until 6th grade. Things at school weren't so great, right? I hated doing school. It just wasn't the right environment for me. Also, I was picked on and bullied at the time, right? And so, not severely. There were other people who got it worse than I did. I'm not gonna say I had the worst life ever, right? I had it pretty good, but having people pick on me and that sort of thing, I remember being so mad at the world that everyone, I believed in my head, everyone was stupid. Unless you were my friend, you were obviously stupid.
Obviously.
So, yeah. So
if you don't
I
like
just
Ryan, then how could you be smart?
Right. So in my head, I was just like, yeah, they're stupid. And then to everybody. So the problem with that was I learned later on that it's like, no wonder I was so bad at making friends. I literally assumed everyone was stupid before I even tried. I'm stupid. Great. Okay. So that was that, right? But in those moments, in that moment of stress, in that moment of just being sick of how people were treating me, right? I remember I kind of explored an idea, if you will. In 6th grade, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to kind of shut down emotionally. Now, that doesn't mean get rid of all my emotions. Rather, it was experiencing life outside myself, right? That's when you kind of remove yourself from the situation. It allows you to take your emotions and just do away with them for that particular issue. That way you don't get so caught up and stressed out. So basically the exercise was this. I would imagine my scenario, right? And then instead of feeling it, instead of looking at me in the scenario, right, and getting all upset and stuff, I would imagine someone that I don't even know. In fact, I would imagine my enemies being in that scenario, right? So I'm getting picked on, right? Or I have to do all this homework. I hate doing homework, whatever it was, right? I would put an enemy in that spot, and then I would look at that and say, do I feel bad about that? I'd be like, no, I don't really care, So why am I upset that I'm in it? Well, it's because generally I'm being selfish in a way, right? I want things to work out for me, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But it allowed me to kind of practice that and just put other people in place of my shoes. Instead of me living in other people's shoes, I put other people in my shoes. right? And I watched them live out that scenario. And then I kind of did the same thing with myself, except for I imagined myself, but the best version of myself in my shoes, right? So instead of me being in my shoes, I was like, all right, pick the best version of whatever I look like, whoever I want to be, my hero, my, you know, my idol, whatever. Put that version of me in my shoes. What does he do? And then I'm like, oh, he just does it without any of the complaining. All right, let's do that then. And then I jump into those shoes and I do it without any of the complaining, right? It was interesting because I learned at that moment that I got the chance, I had the ability to shape my attitude about my scenario, right? I was able to kind of remove myself from the scenario and imagine it what the best way, you know, what the best outcome could be, what the best way I could act like is in that scenario, and then re-jump back into the scenario and live that out, right? And that helped remove a lot of stress because then I wasn't so caught up in all of the emotions. I wasn't so caught up in all of the urgency that a lot of times is not even really there. Like, yeah, I mean, we have things that are urgent, right? Like, oh, you have to do this homework by this date or you're going to get a bad grade, right? And that is urgent. But at the same time, is it so important that I need to be like an emotional wreck while I do it? Or is it better if I just kind of do away with those crazy emotions and just do it, right? I learned that the latter is better. So learning to do that was a process, but it really helped me. So that's my first tip, is just kind of try to remove yourself from the scenario. And the other thing was, I'm trying to remember real quick here. Oh yeah. So you can't be stressed and peaceful at the same time, right? Peace, when you're at peace, right? I think a lot of times people get the wrong idea about peace, right? Because peace is not everything is okay. That's not what peace is. Because a lot of times we feel at peace when everything's okay, right? And so we're like, oh, finally a moment of peace. Everything's okay. You know, everything's working out. Everything is going well for me. I'm at peace, right? But that's not what true peace is. Because if that peace can be shattered by someone walking in and saying one thing, or one thing going awry, right? That's not true peace. It doesn't last. It's just something that you're celebrating in the moment, right? True peace exists even when you're suffering. How do you get that? It's knowing that everything is going to be okay in the end, right? When you can look at and go through life and go, yeah, there's this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, right? But I know it's all for the better, right? I know that that's okay. It's okay for that to be the reality. Because in the end, all of this crazy, difficult stuff will become amazing. It will make me a better person. I'll bring more greatness into the world because of this, and et cetera, right?
And Criminal Idol season 2 will come out.
Yeah, yep.
And so it's all going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic, and you're going to enjoy it. But anyways, if you can train your mind to look at the bigger picture, that's, I think, the number one thing that has brought me peace in my life, is to look at the bigger picture. Again, I just said, like, remove yourself from the scenario so your emotions aren't caught up in it. It's kind of the same thing. You look at the bigger picture of life, right? And you think about things. Sometimes it feels like you don't have any time to think. But if you are practicing looking at the bigger picture in everything you do, even when those moments hit where it's like, I don't have time to think, I gotta go, and you start to feel stressed out, something in the back of your mind will tick, and that habit you've already formed, and it will just shove itself in your face and go, whoa, are you acting stressed out right now? And you're like, oh yeah, you're right, I fixed it. All right, let's go. I'm not stressed anymore, but we actually do have to go. So it's taking in the bigger picture. If you're religious, which I know that Baka Breaker, you said that you are, that's looking at the world from God's eyes, right? You're not insignificant. You mean the world to God, and literally you do, because he made the world for you, right? He also made the world for everybody else who lives in it, but he made this world. And even if you were the only person to live in it, they say that he would still make the world for you, right? Because his love is that large. But if you look at the bigger picture, try to see things through God's eyes, or through the bigger picture, the eyes of the bigger picture, if you will, if you're not religious. See the end to your issues. You start to look at your problem. You say, these aren't so big. I might be stressed out right now, but why the heck am I stressed out? That's silly. There are people in Africa and all around the world, actually, who are currently dying from hunger as I speak. And that's really sad.
Mm-hmm.
But that issue is way bigger than mine. Why am I so upset about my issue?
Mm-hmm.
My issue is insignificant compared to the child who just got murdered right now, because that's happening every second too. So if you try to like weigh your problems against people, you will realize it's not that big of a deal. But there are things that are big deals. That is you as a human being and your livelihood. Your acts of holiness, those are a huge deal, right? That's big. How much good you can do in the world, that's big. But stressing out can, because Joe said that, there's good stress, right? That you stress, it can produce good things in the world. And sometimes it's just part of that struggle to create something good. But it can also distract you from the good. It can cause migraines, like you said, right? And it can cause you to, break out in hives and that kind of stuff. That's that stinks. So in order to get away from that, try to look at the bigger picture of all of the world, and then look at your problem and go, okay, there's no reason to stress out about this. I just need to do this thing. And it's not that big of a deal. If you're getting stressed out about it, you're putting the value of that task above yourself. And I have to tell you, brother, yourself is infinitely more important than that task, whatever that task is. Mm-hmm. It is. It just is. So anything that you can, if you can think about that while you're going through those things, and you can realize my problems, whatever I'm stressed out about, it's not that big of a deal. And then just allow that to calm you. Because you know that even if you don't do the task, which you should, but even if you didn't do the task, you're still capable of doing holy things. You're still infinitely valuable, right? Those things don't change. So it's kind of okay. It's kind of okay if you just don't do it. You should do it anyways, but it's kind of okay. And then you work from there, and you can calm yourself, and then you can go, you know what? Now I'm just going to do it with a peace of mind, because in the end, it's going to be great. And I'm going to go through this. So anyways, I know I talked for a little while, but that's what I got. Joe, do you have anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, sorry, I was... Hurried Nest said, how could I get cats to stop biting me? Noah says, feed them, distract them. I said flashlights.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Get a glove, let them bite that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But Baka, what Ryan is saying is right on, because it's true. Whatever we're going through, it's going to pass. I've learned that, over the course of being stressed out about lots of different things, and right about now on the 20th of every month, I get stressed out. Because that's when a lot of inspections come in, for me to do. And so like a whole bunch of stuff I get work piled on, right? And it's like that now. But what's interesting? Whether I get stressed out about it or not, it ends in like 5 days. It's like over. I just, get down to it and work on it and do the best I can and get stuff done as best I can. And it's done. So it's very interesting. I remember hearing a guy say one time, there's There's a time when something happens to us that's a problem we got to fix. And then there's a time when we solve it, right? And actually, this might be, yeah, that's from left to right. That's good. So there's
That's
a
good.
time.
Either way.
It's weird because I'm looking at the screen and it's not.
Yes. Yeah. It's reversed.
So anyway, so there's so point A, something happens. We got to deal with it. Point B, it's solved. And however long, okay, so solving the problem is really only about this much. This other part is dealing with the emotional response of the problem. Because something happens, and then we have an emotional reaction. We get all worked up, and we get stressed out and all that kind of stuff. And then we kind of work it out in our head. We finally come down, and then finally when we get down to actually fixing the problem or dealing with the situation, it doesn't take that long to figure out. The thing that was in our way was the emotional response. So the question then becomes, how quickly can I get through that emotional response period? I know it's going to happen. Right? It's kind of a knee-jerk reaction. And I don't know if we ever escape it completely. We might escape it on some things, but every once in a while, something's just going to catch you off guard in your life, and you're just going to get hit with it, and it's going to cause some kind of an emotional response, right? Mm-hmm. So the question is, how quickly can I get through that? How quickly can I remind myself, oh, this is going to pass. This is going to be done. We'll get it figured out. It's going to work itself out one way or another. And everything's going to be okay. Just like Ryan was saying, it's going to end up okay. Because it is. The world's still going to spin. Sun's going to come out. Well, if you live in a state other than Michigan, the sun will come out. If you live in Michigan, it will be cloudy. I promise.
It'll come out, but you just won't see it.
Yeah, you won't see it. It'll be light out, so you'll know it's there. But yeah, it'll be covered by clouds.
And if you live in Alaska, it'll come out. Just wait a few months.
Yeah. Yes. And Hurried Nest, you are right. Static's music does help. And the reason that is because he has taken great what I don't even know. He's done the painstaking process of developing lyrics that is really fun to listen to and has a great story, but also teaches you stuff without you even knowing about it. He subtly runs in this stuff. He puts in all this great these great life lessons, so subtly. You don't even realize you're being reprogrammed. It's like, whoa. It's awesome. So, he will teach you the truth through his lyrics. And yes, the wholesome images are wonderful as well. So, anyway. I don't know. I don't really have much else.
No, it's fantastic. Thank you so much, Pocket Breaker. I hope some of that helps. Obviously, we ran through a couple of different ideas. I really like Joe's idea of kind of just letting out your thoughts onto paper, because that's a big deal. That helps a ton when you can just let it out. For me, I do that in prayer. When I pray, I just kind of talk about my problems sometimes and ask for help, and that helps quite a bit. But anyways, yeah, thanks so much for the topic. And we wish you the very best. We're going to move on to the next one. It looks like we have one from Emperor Aerospray. Let me double check that we hit. Yep. Okay, good. That's the first one on the list. Emperor Aerospray, are you still here with us? I'd have to say so. They messaged not too long ago.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's right up there.
Yep. There we are.
Right on.
Awesome.
Oh, look at that. Princess has the link. Wow.
Thank you for your patience. And yeah, thanks, Princess. If you guys want to read along, you can go ahead and click that link.
Yep. Or this
This
one.
one is from. Oh wait, yeah, cool. This one's from Emperor Aerospray. It's titled "Worrying Over a Troubled Friend,"
Mm.
and Princess is going to read it for us.
How do I stop worrying about a suicidal friend and a toxic friend of his that is possibly making his life worse? From Emperor Aerospray.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I totally understand that. I've had a couple of suicidal friends and things like that to deal with through my life. I can understand how worrying that is, how troubling it is, and how much you want to help them, and the sleepless nights that can occur because of that, and honestly, like talking to them the whole night long and things like that. And then also all of their friends that could make things worse. That's pretty common. So this is a really good topic. There's so much here that we can talk about. Um, it's rough because, like you said, you just can't stop worrying about it, right? It's in your head, and you really really worry about them, and your worry is true. But at the same time, you want to stop worrying about it so you can live your life and help them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because sometimes when you're a mess, yeah, I can't really do much to help other people because they can see you're a mess too, right? And it can make things worse. So, yeah, this is a fantastic question. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Joe has to say.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Ryan has to say, because I think you have some quite a bit of experience in this area. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm just gonna kind of muddle through, be a good opening band for Ryan. Um,
Play them tunes, man.
Yeah, it's very interesting because I was trying to think of how to approach this. I remember reading this last week, and I was like, boy, how would I approach that? And it's a tough situation because you care about the person, and so you want to help them, and sometimes the thing we think we do that we think might help actually does worse, right? I know that's been the case for me, where I've tried and tried and tried and tried to help people or make them happy or whatever, and it just backfires sometimes, right? I don't know if you've ever experienced that. I certainly have. And so the things I try to do don't work. And sometimes it just seems to go that way, like, so I think one of the things I've had to do, I'm going to kind of go through this, how to handle it in your own head, because each person's experience is going to be a little bit different. Each person's, the stuff they're dealing with might be a little bit different. If somebody's dealing with an addiction, that's going to change things even more. Like if there's a substance abuse addiction, or if there's an addiction to even, it could be anything. Many things are addictive. Good feelings, foods, TV, video games. And then obviously, when we think of addiction, we usually think of drugs and stuff like that. And clearly those are too. But, anytime somebody has some kind of a disordered attachment to something, it's going to affect the way they do things. And so we have to approach them a little bit differently when they're dealing with that than if it's just something else that's bothering them. So, but here's kind of how I've learned to deal with this stuff in my head. After trying for a long time to help somebody be happy, and watching them just not be happy, and almost like defiantly not happy, like they knew I was trying to make them happy, and they would be not happy just to spite me, it seemed like. Like I don't know, but and sometimes that's manipulation a little bit too, right? But here's the thing I learned. It's not my job to make another person happy. I can't do that. Just like it's not anybody else's job to make me happy. They can't do that for me. Happiness is an inside job. It's between, it's between us and our creator, I believe, right? But it's an inside job. It's not with other people. And when I realized this and I stopped trying so hard, things got a little bit better. And instead of doing whatever I could to make them happy, I just loved them. Because that's something I can do. I can love them. I can have good feelings in my heart toward them. I can be understanding and gracious towards them. That can be hard sometimes. To be gracious and patient and understanding, even in the midst of somebody going through all their conundrums, and maybe they're angry and mean, or maybe they're just sad and non-consolable, and who knows, right? But what I can do is I can love them. And one of the things I've learned is that for me to be okay, so let's say I'm having a conversation with someone, and they're having this mental breakdown. Maybe not a mental breakdown. They're just kind of freaking out at me for whatever reason, right? One of the most important things I can do in that situation is keep my composure. To not freak out with them. To not, like, oh my gosh, that's so bad. To not get into that type of a response, but to just listen without judgment. So don't judge them, but to listen with understanding and to just be solid. Because then they feel like they can depend on you. Then they feel like, I can rely on this person, to be a solid. They're like a rock, right? If you can maintain your composure through that, if you can and not get involved in the freak out session, right? And not let yourself go there.
Yeah, be empathetic and sympathetic, but don't freak out yourself.
Right. Yes. And magician gesture, yes, like the voice of reason, princess, like an anchor in the storm. Yep. And just being there. Yeah, be a friend. Be a friend. Love them. And to love someone is to want the best for them. That's what real love is. We've got love all messed up in our culture. Love means so many weird things. I remember hearing a song by Pink where it's like, something, I just love love. And it's like, but she wasn't talking about love in that song. It was talking about physical pleasures and stuff like that, right? But that's what's kind of become defined as love. But that's not what real love is. Real love is just desiring the best for someone. And if you can be there with them and not judge them, but listen and not be like surprised or blown away by what they say, but just listen and be understanding and calm. Just that. You won't have to say anything. But just being that solid foundation for them could be enough to help them straighten up and be like, well, you know what? I can be like that too, maybe. I bet you I could learn how to be like that and not have this freak out, right? When I went and saw a psychologist, after I had a nervous breakdown my first year in college, and I moved home and all kinds of stuff, and it was crazy, and I ended up going and being in therapy for a while. I remember the most important thing that therapist did was listen to me, and he wasn't ever surprised by anything I said. He wasn't ever taken aback by anything I said, and he didn't ever say, "Oh my gosh, that's so bad." He just listened and nodded and asked questions about, and tried to ask me other stuff to draw these things out, to get to the root of the issue. Right? And he did that so well. But I think if we can do that, like, imagine if we could be that kind of a friend that didn't judge when our friend was having a freak out. Man, wouldn't we be the best kind of friend? I sure think so. But anyway, so that's kind of where, if you can think in terms of that, just love them and understand that you are not in control of their brain. Like, you can't control what's going on with them. Right? That's outside of your realm. And obviously, I can also say, in this type of situation, when you're dealing with someone who might be suicidal, maybe it'd be good for them to talk to a professional. There are people that know, and they would know how to approach based on that person's lifestyle, based on what kinds of different things. We talked about addictions and different things like that. They would know more how to approach a specific situation because they've studied this and they've trained for this and they know all that kind of stuff, right? So anyway, those are just a couple things. And with that, I'm going to turn over to Ryan, because I know Ryan has a lot of good stuff about this.
We'll find out. Honestly, this topic is so huge. There's so much we could talk about. I know I could talk for hours about this, because it's a big topic, and there's just so much to it. Human life is so important. We are so important. And one of the difficulties is the society we live in paints a different picture than that. You look at the world that we live in, people base if you imagine walking up to a celebrity, right, and talking to them, having a conversation, versus walking up to, your some random person in your school that would be equal to you in finances, equal to you in fame and stuff like that. We have different reactions, and that's normal. But at the same time, we're all the same amount of value, right? But the world puts an emphasis on our productivity and things like that we grade ourselves against. And so the difficulty here is that you're dealing with somebody, like Joe said, you don't have control over the way they think, but somewhere down the line, their thinking has gone the wrong way. If they're suicidal, that means they don't value their life. They don't see that their life has so much value that doing such a thing would be inconceivable, right? And that's okay. Like, I don't mean it's okay. It's not a good thing, right? But I mean, and it's kind of like, that's a lot of people have gone there. A lot of people are feeling that way, right? You can see some of the places in the world where you have the highest suicide rates. Typically, it's Korea and Japan. And that's because they grade people, they value people based on their productivity or their achievements in society, right? How much they've offered their friends and so on around them. How much money do they make? What's their social status and that kind of thing. That's how they grade people in those countries. And so you see people like students who are going through school and they're not getting good grades and they commit suicide just because of that. And that just gives me chills. That makes me so sad because it's backwards. It's wrong. It's not how humanity works. It's not how we should think about things. But that's kind of where the world is going and it continues to go. And so it's really unfortunate. So what do we do to turn that around? right? If your friend is suicidal, that means they probably don't love themselves, right? They probably don't appreciate themselves, right? Um, it also probably means they don't enjoy the life or the circumstances in their life that they've been given, right? And so what you want to do is help your friend change their perspective. That's all that helping someone through suicide is about, changing their perspective, right? When I say it like that, that's not a whole lot to overcome, right? It's just changing their perspective. But that's no easy task, right? I can give you some tips on how to start working on that. But one of the things is, like Joe said, you can't make them happy. That's first and foremost. And you need to remember that along the way. So what you're doing so that you can decide, hey, I'm going to do these things, not to make them happy, but to lead by example. Because here's the thing. You probably have friends in your life that have shaped you. They've changed how you talk. They've changed how you laugh, perhaps. They've changed how you see the world around you, right? They've changed your taste in music, or they've changed your appreciation for different things like sports or drawing or music, all sorts of different things in life, right? When we're friends, we do that to each other just by associating with each other. We create habits inside of our friends on accident. And that's an awesome thing because we get to have a part in our friends' lives that is mysterious and incredible. So I say all that to preface this. If you want to help your friend, you have to do so by being the best version of yourself. You need to focus on you. And I say that because they will start to take after you, and they need to focus on themselves, right? Not focus on themselves like all this is bad, because what their habit is their habit is to turn everything into a negative thing about themselves, right? That's what you get with a suicidal person. That's what you get with someone who's depressed, right? They're taking everything in the world, they're turning it into a negative thing, and they're putting it on themselves. They're pointing it at themselves and saying, oh, these people hate me. It's like, you don't even know those people. You don't know why they were laughing. You're just assuming they're laughing at you. I remember going through that.
Mm-hmm.
And it stinks.
I went
and
through that
only
until
years
I was almost
later
30.
Yeah, right. Years later, you realize, you're like, how could I have, like, I was turning everything against me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're going through right now. But you know what helped me? Good friends. Friends who had the right kind of thinking, who weren't trying to help me. They were just trying to help themselves be the best version of themselves. And that inspired me. And then I started to do that to myself. And I noticed all of my friends around me started to be better people. Not because I was teaching them or showing them or telling them what they had to do. They weren't giving me their problems and then me going, oh, this is how you solve it. Do this, this, and this. Not at all. I was just like, hey, I'm going to start working on changing myself to be the best person I could imagine myself being. And I started down that road, and I made big changes, really big, noticeable changes that took a lot of work for me. I had to step outside my comfort zone time and time and time again, sit down next to people that I thought were my enemies and have an honest conversation about them, actually not about them, but just complimenting them, and then going into a conversation. And you know what it started out with? Hey, I like your pants. And that sounds ridiculous, but it's true.
It does sound
It
ridiculous.
is so true.
I like your pants,
I
man.
mean, yeah, I liked they were wearing blue jeans and they had a nice color to them. And I was like, hey, this is going to sound stupid, but I like your pants. And they're like, they looked down and they looked up and they're like, thanks, me too. And I was like, yeah, where'd you get them? Honestly, I remember seeing someone, and I remember thinking this, like, this guy always wears political shirts. He's just trying to make people get upset at him. But you know what? I kind of appreciate that about him. He's got guts.
Uh-huh.
And so I just went up to him and I told him, you know what, man? You've got guts. Like, you know, I used to think, wow, you're wearing those shirts, you're just trying to get people angry. But then I realized you just got guts, man. That's awesome. And he's like, hey, dude, thanks. Yeah. And we got into a conversation, right? That's how things go. I had to step out so far from my comfort zone to do that because remember earlier I said everyone is stupid. Like that was my idea. I thought if you weren't my friend, clearly, you know, something was wrong with you. No, I was putting that on everybody. I didn't even give anybody a chance, right? So I had to learn to try to become the better version of myself. What happened was my self-esteem in me, my self-esteem grew. How we started treating people grew, right? And my friends could see that. And my friends got inspired. Just like I got inspired when I saw the new friends I made, actually Joe being one of them, who were trying their best to become their best. It's hard to change someone by giving them advice because that doesn't inspire people.
Right.
It doesn't. I mean, it can, right? We can have really inspiring things to say on this show. Sometimes I'm just like, yeah, that was great. All right, let's, you know, I'm inspired now. But most of the time we inspire people just by our daily actions. We show that we're trying and people look at us and go, oh man, I got to try too. I've said this before. I think I said this last stream. I've purposefully watched idle anime just because I know that I'm going to see some girls working really hard. And that's going to get me inspired. And I'm going to press the pause halfway through the video. Don't even need to finish the episode. Just pause that episode, start working on music. I'm like, yeah, let's go. I'm inspired because we can see people working hard and it inspires us. So my best advice is this. If they ask for advice, you can give it to them. Don't expect that to go anywhere. Hope it goes somewhere, right? Every nugget that you give them helps, right? Every word that you say is important because it sits around in the back of their head forever until like 3 years later, they think they come up with the idea and they're like, hey, I solved my own problem. I just did this. And you're like, that's literally what I told you. Whatever. All right. Yeah. Good job. That's so smart.
Yeah. It's not about you having credit.
Yeah.
It's about them getting the idea, right?
Right. So yeah, definitely give them advice if they're asking for it. If they're not asking for advice and they're just throwing it at you, don't give advice. They don't really need it because what they need is some inspiration. What they need is someone to accept them for who they are. They need someone to love them for who they are. Because you can't really accept. The thing is, we are imperfect, all of us, right? That's just the way it is. And we rarely accept anything less than perfection as humans. But we can love beyond that, right? We can certainly love beyond that. We can desire the best for someone, regardless whether they're being their best or they're not. In fact, we love someone even more when they're not being their best. Because then we have even more room to say, hey, I want for you so much. and it's so good. Keep on holding tight. So take them on an adventure. Take them on an adventure, but just lead the way, right? Be someone who's working on yourself to grow as fast as you can in the best way you can. Think about virtues. So you can look up the virtues if you want. What are the 7 cardinal virtues or the other 14 or whatever? I don't remember that they are.
There's a bunch of them.
There's a bunch of them. But just look up, just Google, what are the virtues, right?
Mm-hmm.
And pick one and start working on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, look at them, and anyone, you just go down the line, you get an explanation on them, and if one of them strikes you like, ooh, that hurt a little bit, start with that one and work on it every day. Do what you can to step outside your comfort zone. And it seems weird because you asked how you can help your friend with suicide, and here I am telling you how to be a better person. But it seems weird, but I tell you, I can't guarantee it, because we can't really guarantee anything in life, except that it's not easy and there's no guarantees. Except for that you have lived and eventually you will die. There are a few things we can guarantee, but the thing is, I will grant you that it is 99% more effective to work on yourself and inspire them by bringing them along the way. Bring them for your journey. Consult with them. You want them to respect your opinion, they're going to need to respect you as a person. And another thing, if you respect their opinion, they will begin to respect yours as well. So ask them for advice. Seriously, do it. Ask them for advice. You know why? Because they need someone to tell them that they're important and that their opinions matter and that they're smart, right? That's why they're going through this. They don't believe any of that. But you offer that to them just by saying, hey, can you give me your opinion about this? Hey, can you give me some advice about this? Mm-hmm. And take what they say seriously. That will build so much in them. Mm-hmm. So lead by example and build them up, not by telling them what they need to do. Build them up, not by giving them advice, not by getting emotional with their problems and going into them with them. Build them up by showing how important they are. Showing them that their importance is even higher than that problem that they're dealing with. And you do that by talking to them, asking for their opinion, regarding them as someone who demands respect because they have a lot of great things to say. And that's not something that they'll believe if you tell them, but if you act it out, they'll start to believe it over time. It's all about changing their habits in their head, their perspective. Their perspective is a habit that's formed by the world around them and their way that they've been perceiving it, right? So you have to break that perception into a new habit. So hopefully you can do that. That's my advice. And I knew I would go on for quite a while, and I'm sorry.
That was good.
But yeah. Joe, do you have anything else you want to add to that?
Well, there was a comment from Emperor Aerospray. How do I start with a compliment convo, name made on the spot, without sounding cheesy? And I'm guessing that is like, how do I start up a conversation with a compliment? Or how do I, do that? How do I, yeah. And
Joe's great at this.
I'm good at sounding cheesy, is what Ryan's trying to say. Because sometimes it's going to be cheesy, but you just, if you're comfortable sounding cheesy, then it's not cheesy. It might, it's just like, who cares? Like, for instance, I was at the gas station and I went in to pay for gas, and the guy there had massive gauges in his ears, right? Big, huge plates, right? In his earlobes. And I can remember a time in my life when that would have really I'd be like, whoa, that's weird, right? But it was noticeable. And I understand, for me now, my brain goes, dude, that's like a commitment. Because that's a lot of effort and time that went into getting that big of gauge in there. And if he ever decides to take them out, it's not going away. He's going to have a loop for his earlobe for the rest of his life. So he's committed to these things, right? And so I was so all I did was, but here's the thing. He went through all that and he must be proud of it. Why you wouldn't go through all that if you didn't really want to, right? And so I was like, hey man, nice gauges. He was like, Hey, thanks. And I was like, boy, that must have taken a while. How long did that take? You know? And he's like, oh, however long. And I took him out for a while, but then I put him back in, and he told me this little story and everything, and it was cool. And at the end of that conversation, we were on friendly terms and everything like that. It was really nice. But I think it was Mark Twain who said, become a prodigious noticer. So look for things to notice. And then you can always find something to compliment if you're thinking in terms of, if you're noticing things and you're thinking in terms of the complimentary side of it. Because I could have easily looked at that guy with those big gauge earlobe things and been like, oh man, like what would possess you to do that? Like that's where my mind would have gone in a lot of cases. But I've learned over time that when I notice these things, hey, you know what? Like Ryan was talking about the guy who always wore the political t-shirts. He's asking for an argument, right? He's asking for a debate. There's a reason he does that. He's got some swagger to him. Just by doing that. When people decide to wear a certain pair of pants, they probably meant to do that. The pants I wear are function oriented. These days, they're lined with fleece.
Nice.
It's cold outside, and they're nice and warm and soft, and yeah, they're wonderful. But people wear things for a certain reason. People adorn themselves with jewelry for a certain reason. Like these things are done purposefully. And if we can notice that stuff about people, just those little things that a lot of times go overlooked, like a necklace or earrings, or, the way somebody does their makeup, or, maybe somebody had unruly ear hair and they trimmed it. They did that
Or
on
maybe
purpose.
someone does something that's an action that impresses you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like picks up a pencil for someone who dropped it on the floor, or
Yeah.
things like that.
It takes guts, We don't even give them a second thought when we watch somebody do it. But when we are in the experience of doing it, it's something we did on purpose, right? And so, yeah. So just start to notice. Just lean back and notice the world around you. Be like, you know what? They meant to do that. I listened to a song. For instance, like I've gotten to listen to a lot of Jono's songs lately. Every single little tiny sound in there is in there for a reason. The ones we don't notice are in there for a reason. Everything. And we put them in there. And it takes a long time of recording and producing and all kinds of stuff. And, there's a lot of stuff that goes through it. And by the time you're done making a song, you hate it because you've listened to it so many times. But every little bit of that was done on purpose. And so if we could just notice stuff, we can really have a lot of chances to compliment people. We really can. And then it doesn't have to sound cheesy. But then how do you make it not sound cheesy? You just do it and deal with it sounding cheesy until you get good at it, I guess.
One of the things that I would do is give my disclaimer. So I remember doing this. I can't remember if it was their shoes or their shoelaces. But I remember sitting down next to someone and saying, this is going to sound so stupid, but I really like your shoes. And I was, and it was a girl. So I was like, I just felt really weird for a guy to walk up and tell a girl that I liked her shoes. But I was like, I committed myself that I had to do it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And the response was very nice. And I think by saying like, hey, it's going to sound really stupid, or hey, it's going to be sound really cheesy, it kind of dusts off the you know, the issue a little bit, and makes it so it's not so um they don't take it the wrong way. Sometimes you compliment people and they take it as an offense. If you know somebody who does that, right? Just put the disclaimer in the front of it and say, hey, I I I legitimately mean this. I'm not trying to mock you or anything. Like, from the bottom of my heart, like, that was cool. Or whatever you have to say, you know. Um because that helps do away with the concept that you're mocking them or things like that, because sometimes people feel that way. Um so that can help, just having a little disclaimer in there.
Hmm.
But yeah, I
They're cool.
yeah,
Disclaimers are fun.
disclaimers are great. I use them a lot, and I think it helps a lot.
We said we're not therapists.
That's right. That's a disclaimer.
But like I said, that's what was missing. We never got a disclaimer at the start. We just didn't call attention to the disclaimer. We just
Yeah,
didn't say,
I
here's the
said it pretty
disclaimer.
quickly.
He just said it. He just kind of glanced past it. And
Mhm.
yeah.
That's right. So, anyways, yeah, let's move on to the next topic, eh?
Yeah, do we
Thanks
have
so
one? Is there anybody else here?
um
Oh, well, I know there's
yeah.
lots of people here.
Yeah, I think so, cuz Audrey, are you still here? But actually, yeah. Audrey and Martin? If Martin or Audrey's still here, let us know. But yeah, thank you so much for your topic. And we hope we genuinely hope for the very best for you and the suicidal person. As for their friend, sorry we didn't talk about their toxic friend. I know that's a pain in the butt, because you have someone who's a bad influence and there's not much you can do. The only thing you can do is help to maybe be the good side that they can get some influence from during the storm. It's rough. Hopefully maybe they can rethink their friendships and decide, hey, maybe this friendship isn't helping me out in my life. I need to, or maybe they can start to get influenced too. Maybe that person will start to go, you know what, I got some things I need to stop being so toxic, and they'll work on themselves. People who are toxic generally know it, and they don't like that about themselves. They just can't help themselves, right? They just have bad habits. They got, and they're working on it, and they don't like themselves a lot of times. So maybe they'll get something from it as well. But yeah,
Magician Jester just gave us the disclaimer.
disclaimer: we're not professional
psychiatrists.
psychiatrists.
Take our help with
our
a fistful of salt.
fistful of salt. Yes,
Yeah.
be salty.
That one.
All right. Yes.
All right,
Okay.
Princess,
so
pick the
Audrey
topic
is here.
for us. Hey, it looks
and
like
Martin
it's
is here
Audrey's.
too.
Yep,
Audrey's
both
comes
are here. It
first,
looks
so
like
go ahead.
Audrey's got in here first. So Martin, probably we won't have time for yours on this show, so you can come back next week, and we can get
Yes.
to yours.
Please do.
Yes.
Thank you for everyone who's joined us this evening. This is fantastic. By
Mhm.
the way, I've been reading your comments, and you guys have some great advice too. So,
Mhm.
thank
Everybody-
you so much for
Wow.
helping out in the chat. So, if you
We
want
got
to
the
read along,
best
please.
community.
Click
This is the
link.
best community ever. Tell your friends.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Best ever. Best ever. Actually, don't tell all your friends. It's an exclusive club.
Yeah. Tell everybody that it's an exclusive club for people who are like super cool and chill and
you
not
gotta
judgmental.
You gotta be cool.
Yeah, so that way when they do join, they'll think that they're exclusive, and you'll already set the stage of how they're supposed to act.
Yeah, because they don't have to be cool.
Yeah, yeah. Even though everyone's invited. All right. So this is from Audrey. It's titled "Stay at Home Mom: An Equal Job." Job is in quotations, and then there's a question mark after that. So thank you so much for your submission. Princess is going to do the honors of reading it for us.
I wonder if being a stay-at-home mom is seen as an actual job in today's society. My husband doesn't seem to agree with me on this subject. I wanted to get a non-biased opinion since you guys don't know us personally.
Mm.
From Audrey.
Thanks so much, Audrey. I mean, personally, I'm honored that you would consider us, um, since I guess we don't really know each other, but I'm very honored that you would consider us in our opinion. This is an interesting topic, especially in today's culture in our society and where it's gone, where it's come from, the negative stigma about our past, and how women are treated and that sort of thing. There's a lot about this topic that's quite interesting. Um, but down to the basics, right? How do we see it right now? What's the right view? Because an opinion is opinion. So you could say that there's no right view, but at the same time, some facts are facts and some opinions are good for your health, and some opinions are bad for your health. Some opinions are bad for society. So I think one important thing is to consider that whether something is true for society today or not, what's good for society, what's good for the family life, what's good for humans, and what's good for ourselves, right? And we can try to take that and work that into our daily life, even if society doesn't agree with it. So, I mean, because there's plenty of things that society is going one way and we should turn around and go the opposite way on.
Absolutely.
Right? So sometimes it doesn't necessarily matter what society thinks, but I think it's a great question to ask. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Joe has to say as a husband himself and family father of two. Go for it.
The short answer, yes. Now, okay, I take that back. In today's society, I don't know if today's society views it as a real job, but I do. I'll tell you this. It's weird because, like, when you think of a job, you think, okay, it earns an income. Stay-at-home momism, it does not earn an income usually. Being a stay-at-home mom usually costs money, right? As you know, like when our kids were little, my wife stayed home with the kids, and it got kind of financially strained. But we had to weigh out, okay, what's more important? Do we want our kids in daycare? Or do we want mom to be there? Whatever struggles we had to endure, it was better, I think, to have mom there than to be at a daycare. Now, nothing wrong with daycares. There are a lot of good ones. But, that's not mom. Right? And I think that was a really cool, it was really cool that we were able to do that. Now, interestingly enough, my wife has gone on and she still stays extremely involved in the kids' lives because when they started going to school, she got a job at the school.
Yeah. So she can babysit there with the rest
So
of the teachers.
So now she's there with not only our kids, but all the other kids, like all of our kids' friends. And all of the potential friends, and getting to know all the parents, and getting to know all. I mean, it's pretty cool. So, but being a stay-at-home mom, now I understand where your husband's coming from, because there was a time when things were hard. I had 3 jobs at one point in time, and was working all the time to try and make money. And interestingly enough, this is, what about a stay-at-home dad? Yeah, that's a real job too. Now, I was out trying to make money, and she was home with the kids all day. I remember telling this to a person at one of my jobs when I was there, when I was working. I was working late at a store. One of my jobs at this time was coding products for the AC Nielsen company. It's like, I know none of you probably know what that is, but there's like this worldwide global database of products, right? And somehow they have to get put in the system. And so my job was to go into the store and go through with a little scan gun and scan things. Scan them. and scan them and scan them and scan them until the computer made a certain noise, ding, and then I would put it in my cart, and I'd keep scanning, and I'd scan until another one, ding, oh, that one's not in the system either. And so it was basically scanning all these barcodes to see which ones were in the system, which ones weren't. And if it was not in the system, my job then was to go and input all the information that was on the box and the UPC code and where it was made and what all this stuff was, right? But I was doing that job. It was really a boring, dumb job. But I was doing that job at this store, and they're like, and we got talking about our kids and everything like that. And I was like, you know what's interesting? I work 3 jobs, and on a day when I work all 3 of my jobs, I'm less tired than a day spent with my 2 boys. Spending an entire day with my 2 sons is way more tiring than working all 3 of my jobs in the same day. It's nuts. So, parenting is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it requires all of your attention, right? Like nonstop. You gotta be on point. You gotta be available. Now, it doesn't mean, you might have time where you plop them in front of a movie or something and go like, just relax for a few minutes, like I totally understand, like
in the bathroom so they can't bother you.
Yeah, right. So, but it's interesting because, even in those moments, even when you're having downtime, you have to be available, like, because something might happen. Somebody might get hurt. If it's my 2 boys, somebody's going to get hurt that day. I promise. Who knows? Maybe there'll need to be stitches involved. We don't know. But something's going to happen, and usually the younger one's going to get hurt. Like, he just is a daredevil, and his poor chin. He just hurt his chin again the other day, sledding. He just scraped his chin all up. And not far from where he has a scar from where he had to get stitches from falling and whacking his face on a chair. Like, the poor kid. Like, it's so crazy. But yeah, stay-at-home mom, definitely a lot of work. Definitely a job. Even though, by society standards, it doesn't produce an income, it is definitely one of the hardest things out there to do, and also one of the most rewarding. You are so blessed and fortunate to be able to spend that time with your kids. If anything, if I said anything that was kind of against being a stay-at-home mom, from my perspective, it was probably because I was jealous because I wasn't spending time with my kids because I was working, right? And I would have rather been there, spending time there with my kids deep down inside. Now, I wouldn't have showed that. I would have been like all like, hey, but deep down inside, I love my kids. And of course I want to spend time with them. And in a way, I was kind of jealous of my wife because she was there with them. And I was out working. So on this badge of courage, I was like, yeah, I'm producing an income, and that's good. And that's necessary. We got to have that too. I don't want to, I don't want to alienate your husband because what he's doing is very important also. And it takes both, right? But yes, and somebody said, I think science, is getting a babysitter would allow for her to get a job, but it is worth missing out on her own kids' development. Yep, that's the question. That's always the question to play in your head. It's like, okay, how important is that income versus how important is the time with my kids, right? And so hopefully you can find a way to balance the two if it's possible. If not, I don't know. But the life we live is not perfect. And so therefore our time is finite. And my hat's off to you. If I was wearing a hat, I'd take it off to you. Because being a stay-at-home mom, that's a lot of work. And even though it doesn't produce an income, I think it's a job. I think it's one of the best and most difficult jobs out there. But anyway, I've said my bit. I'm turning it over to Ryan. Ryan, take it away.
All right. Yeah, Joe, thanks for that. It's kind of funny. You talk about on a day that you're with your family, with the kids, and you're watching them and you're playing with them, you're way more exhausted than the days that you worked like 3 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I totally feel that. My brother can second that as well.
Oh yeah, they got an army of kids.
Yeah, they've got an army of them. They've got 6 now. One of them was born just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and they're all 9 and under.
Yep, that's right. So they're working up a little mini army.
Yeah.
I'm just the uncle, but I have to, I get asked to watch them from time to time, right? And yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I think part of it is that I don't watch them very often, so it's a bigger task for me than normal because it's not something I normally do. But when I go to watch them, right, it's always like, all right, how do I spend time with all of you? Okay, I can't. Guys, could we all do something together so that we can? No, we can't. Okay, how about let's see. I'll play with you for this amount of time, and then I'll play
with you. And
yes, yeah, and I can't. The way I'm going to do this is so that you two are not together, and I will play with both of you and this group of family members and this group of family members. But like, you have to wait your turn. No, it's not your turn yet. No. Okay, this is not working.
But I want to play with Uncle Ryan.
Yeah. So
Uncle Ryan's the coolest. I want to pull his hair.
Yeah. No, they never really pull my hair. One of them might, but that's about it. So it is a lot of work. And any job that you do is a lot of work. A career, I would say that a career has to pay. A job doesn't, right? You're just doing an act that provides some sort of improvement, right? To get, whatever gets the job done. Job in that sense is anything. It doesn't have to make you money. So I would say, is it a career? It doesn't really earn you money, right? It might save you money because you don't have to send kids off to the daycare.
Mm-hmm.
But in that aspect, you're not going out and making money, so it's kind of like, just like science said, how do you want to spend your time, basically? So is it a career? No. Is it a job? I would say yeah. Does today's society agree with that? And I'd say, in light of all of the current women's rights activists and all this kind of thing going on, society would not like it to be a job. They would like to degrade it and say that it isn't a job, because it's something that women have that men don't, and women were told to do in the past without being allowed to be, to work in a career. And so it's considered this bad thing. Because that sort of light has been shown on it in our society. But that's just a perspective, right? That's not the truth. That's just a perspective. And I don't think that, hey, I'm Catholic. We've got tons of bad history behind us. Some of it is fake history that people have made up, and we still admit to it because we don't know any better. Some of it is real history that we've done terrible things, right? It's just true. It's silly.
We still apologize. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It didn't even. Yeah.
Oh wait, that didn't actually happen. Wait a second.
Yeah,
why am I apologizing?
Anyways, the point is, that's one of the things you kind of learn to do is just like, hey, yeah, we did bad things before. Yes, there was this bad light, this bad part of doing this in the past. But that doesn't mean that's all it amounts to now, right? We can be better people, right? And we can do things right. And I think it's wonderful that, it should have been this way all along. And maybe it has been, and some people got the history wrong. But it's wonderful that women can go out and pursue a career, what they want, and what they want to do. Here's the thing. No man or woman should ever be denied the ability to do good.
Mm-hmm.
Period. That's written that's
Boom.
written into American Constitution right there.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. Fantastic. All right, let's close the stream down. No, I'm just kidding. No. That being said, that's also kind of how I grade things. Maybe I'm a bit weird on topics because of this, because this is kind of how my mind works, but it's not about necessarily how much money you make. Yes, you need money to provide for your family.
Mhm.
Absolutely. But it's more so about the good that you can do, because that's more important than money, right? The point of money is to do good things, right? We want the money so we can feed our family. That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
We want the money so we can give our children things to play with.
Mhm.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. A very good thing. We want money so we have things to play with. That's a good thing. Joy is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's all sorts of things that are good that money can provide.
We need
So
money so we can get kicked in the head by our Taekwondo instructor.
Absolutely. And that's a
Did you
good
pay for that? Sorry.
So that being said, I think we can grade the activity not necessarily by how much money it makes, but by how good it is, right? And if you're in the opinion that being a stay-at-home mom provides enough good worth the difficulty that it takes to achieve doing it, then I think that's a beautiful idea. But if you have something on your mind that says, you know what, I have something to do in the world because I have something to give to the world, and I can provide for my children and be with them, but I also have this other thing that I need to do for the world, I think that's important too.
Mm-hmm.
It could be anything. It could be, it could be going out and feeding the poor. It could be something that's a career path, like, being a chef. And it sounds strange. It's like, a chef? That's a beautiful job. You realize how important food is to us, right? And how we kind of, humans kind of flock and connect to other people around food, right? We rejoice around food. We celebrate around food. We bring joy with food. Food is a beautiful thing. And if that's your art that you want to bring to the world, you should do that. And if you think that your time is best spent producing children with good values, right? A good upbringing, ones that you believe that you can put out into the world and let go and will do incredible things to the world, right? Do that. The thing about parenting is, so often we get in the mindset, and I think this applies to mothers more so than fathers, and that's okay. I don't mean to stereotype. It's just the way it is. It's the way we think about things. We want to protect our children, right? And that's good. But more important than protecting them is building them up so they can do even more good to the world, right? We want that security. We want to protect our children. We want to make things safe and easy. We want to make things easy for the children. But at the same time, we know that the more they struggle, the more they grow.
Mm-hmm.
The harder it is, we leave them alone in a room with Legos rather than showing them how to do it all the time. They're going to learn how to do those Legos into like amazing things. You're like, how did you make that? You did that without instructions? Dang, what? Oh my gosh, you are better than me at Legos now,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's happened to my nephew. So he's so good. His imagination it's incredible. He'll look at something and he'll go online and he'll look at like, oh, I like that Lego set. All right, I'm gonna go to my Legos and I'm gonna make that with my Legos that I have. I'm just like, you don't even instructions. What the heck are you doing? Just amazing.
I need the instructions, like totally.
Yeah, but he loves reading instructions, so he usually does. But anyways, Um, we want to basically, um, it's kind of a Catholic saying, but our job isn't to protect our children. Our job is to prepare our children for being saints,
Mm.
for
Mhm.
being the best version of themselves, right? Our job is to teach our children to be the best version of themselves, the best they could possibly be, and providing that environment for them. Sometimes that environment is tough love. Sometimes it is not easy, you know? But that's just an important aspect. And are our daycares doing that for us? Are they preparing our children to go out into the world to make the world a better place? Who knows? Maybe they are.
Probably depends on the daycare.
It depends on the daycare. Exactly.
Mhm.
There are some really awesome people out there that devote their lives to daycare because they believe they can make a difference.
Mhm.
So ultimately, my point is I can't say what you should do. My opinion is that it is an important job in the world today, but it doesn't mean it is the job that every woman should take. Every parent or man or female, men can be stay-at-home dads as well. I've seen it. It's
Mhm.
fantastic. Works great.
Mhm.
They need both. I think it's important to have both. The more the better. But I think that how much good can you do is an important question. And if you have the ability to do something in the world that provides the world with something that's beautiful and good, then I wouldn't stop doing that just because the prospect of being a stay-at-home mom presents itself. It's up for you to make that decision, right? But anyways, that's what I got.
Mhm.
I'm gonna get over to Joe since we're nearing the end here. But
Yep.
yeah,
I just have one last little tidbit that might help you, because I see here, you mentioned in here your husband doesn't seem to agree with you on the subject. So I can see the beginnings of a little bit of a contest, or maybe a little bit of an argument or something going on here, right? Now, those are natural in a marriage. We're gonna have disagreements and all that kind of stuff, right? It's natural. But here's something that's key, especially something like this that can kind of get to. It can be a deep seated feeling involved with this situation, because I mean, obviously, you would take pride in being a mom because because you see it as a beautiful, wonderful thing. You want to be a mom, you want to raise your kids. It's an important job. It is a very, very important job to bring children up into the world, right?
mm-hmm.
Like Ryan was talking about, to make them good for the world. It is very important. And it's also very important that somebody earns a living and brings money in for resources for the family, right? And so one of the things that I've learned over time, mainly by messing it up ridiculously horribly, because that's how I, we talk about not being therapists. Well, how are we qualified to do a show like this? Well, because I've messed everything up and I've experienced it. So, so I can tell you what not to do. But so here's something that I've found to be key, is that there isn't really one that's more important than the other, because both are important. It's important to make a living. It's important to have resources, and it's important to bring up children. All of these things make up a family unit, and all these tasks are important. And so one key is to there's a temptation to be prideful of our own position. Like me as the person out working, the temptation would be for me to kind of be proud of that, right? And it's okay to be proud of it and be, like, hey, I'm a hard worker. Okay, good. That's great. But, the key is I need to appreciate what my wife brings to the table, and vice versa, right? Both need to appreciate each other. Now, if it's not happening for like, so let's say my wife doesn't appreciate what I'm doing. And so she doesn't express any appreciation whatsoever. And she's just mean. And she's like, well, you're never home and da, 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 whatever. Right. And so like all this stuff is going on. Right. I can only say this from my perspective. Right. So like if she's like that, it's still my job to appreciate her. Right. So all I can do is I can deal with my own heart. I can work with my own heart and be like, okay, my job is to not be self-focused. My job is to appreciate my wife. And then the other thing is too, because in a situation where you have one person out working and earning a living and the other person staying home with the kids, it might be doubly important for you guys to work together to make sure you're not being wasteful with the resources that are coming in, because only one person is out there working. In some households where there's two incomes, they have a lot more abundance, of resources to deal with, where they can just be like, oh, well, we can go out to eat every day, or we can, do whatever, we can go on these great vacations all the time, and, we can do all this great stuff. But it might be a little bit different because you've made the choice that it's important to be there with your kids. You just have to be very mindful of the resources that you have and make sure you're not being wasteful. Just, keep track of that. So those are some things that can help you navigate this path successfully. And having grace and love and forgiveness for your spouse is definitely one of those important things. And even if you're not feeling appreciated on your end, it's still a choice you can make to appreciate them, what they're doing. And a lot of times in response, they will in turn begin to learn how to appreciate what you're doing as well. So it's interesting, but somebody's got to go first, right? Especially in a situation where you got two people that are like holding up their position. The remedy for that argument is going to be the appreciation for the spouse, for the other spouse, right? And somebody's got to go first, probably. It's very rare that both people start, that at the same time.
That's incredibly rare.
Yeah. So, yep. So somebody's got to come first. So it might as well, I always look at it like, well, if somebody's got to go first, might as well be me, because I'm thinking about it right now. Like I'm sure if my wife was thinking about it right now, she'd beat me to the punch, but because she's good at that. But anyway, so those are just some things that might help smooth things out, because I could totally see this turning into a bit of an argument. And my thoughts and prayers are with you. I think I admire you. I want to tell you that, Audrey, and I also admire your husband.
Mm-hmm.
Because, this living situation isn't easy for either of you, right? It isn't easy for you to feel at home all day by yourself with the kids or however many kids you have. That's a stressful, long day, and it's tiring. Oh my gosh.
And there's no point where you can just walk away and be like, okay, I'm time for break.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
It doesn't exist a lot of times.
Yep. But also then for your husband, it's not easy for him either, because he's out working. He's out trying to scrape together a living for a household, and for a family. And there might be times when he feels like he's all alone out there. Right? Because he's the only person out working. And it's easy for us to get blinded by that, but both are necessary. And, so I just admire you guys so much, and understand that my thoughts and prayers are with you. And yeah, so anyway, but yes, legitimately, you got a job. So anyway, Ryan, I'm done.
Awesome. Thank you guys, all of you, so much. Thanks, Audrey, for the fantastic topic.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's more to be said on it, but I think we did justice. Hopefully we did. And I hope you can navigate that with your husband, whoever side who was on. I don't actually know. It could be that Audrey's the one that doesn't think it's an appropriate job in our current society. But yeah, hopefully you guys can find an agreement there that that is enjoyable for both of you. I know that it can be difficult, just like Joe was talking about. So,
Yep. And sometimes you got to make the choice to love your spouse.
Yep, love is a choice after all.
Because when we get married, it's not like, hey, I commit to loving you as long as we both still feel like it.
or even worse, as long as I feel like it, regardless of you.
It's right. It's like, it's as long as we both shall live, not as long as we both shall feel like it. But anyway, yeah.
Yep. But
Thanks,
thank you guys,
Audrey.
all of you, so much for joining us on our adventure this evening. And I've been really happy about all the chat. You guys have been awesome, and we love you guys. You guys are amazing. But yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being here. Come back next Wednesday for another Don't Worry Wednesday. Also, stay tuned. Anybody who wants to audition that's 18 or over, wants to audition for the voice acting roles for Criminal Idol Season 2. That will come out on Friday. The audition materials, everything, all that stuff will come out on Friday. Stay tuned to the Static P channel for that. Also the Discord, also the Twitter. Are we going to put it on this channel as well? Or we'll probably link to it on this channel anyway.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. It'll show up. And it's going to go for a few weeks, so we'll also announce it again next week while it's going on and direct you where to go and all that kind of stuff. So, but you can be a member of the Static P Friends on Discord. You'll get the message. Also, go to Static P YouTube channel and subscribe to that, because if you're not subscribed to that, you ought to be anyway. And go there, because then you'll get the notification that the video came out, and then you'll have all the information to audition. And yeah, this is an exciting time. So love you guys lots. Thank you for being here. And
awesome.
Ryan, you're the host, so you should actually close it out.
Oh, okay. Love you guys lots. Thank you for being here. It's like, the heck, man. All right. See you guys later. Bye.
See you next week.